Good evening, everyone. We are back, continuing our Studio Ghibli retrospective, and we are talking about Ponyo, which is the 2008 movie directed by Hayao Miyazaki. This was a first-time watch for both of us. Once again, you might just need to bump my volume down just a tad. I'm hearing a little bit of feedback. This is probably one of the most commercially successful Studio Ghibli films, especially at the time. When this was released, it became the 8th highest grossing anime film of all time. Huge, massive critical acclaim. It was one of the widest openings internationally as well for English-speaking language.
But was it as big of an opening as Star Wars Episode 1?
Probably not. No, I wouldn't imagine, but yeah, this was one that I'd heard a little bit about. I knew it was about a fish. I didn't know it was a human fish, so that was news to me pretty much as soon as I started watching the film. And I guess I was kind of expecting this to be maybe like Hayao Miyazaki's answer to The Little Mermaid or something like that, or Help, I'm a Fish. And I actually kind of wasn't totally wrong on that. There are some parallels to Little Mermaid, which I'm sure we'll talk about later on.
I thought there would be more of a comparison between that and the fish in Pinocchio. That's what I had in my head.
Oh, like Cleo, the little goldfish thing.
Yeah, like, it's not a hot fish like in Pinocchio.
So the story of Ponyo, for anyone who doesn't know, it's about well, it's kind of like a scientist under the water, isn't it? Who's created like these like fish people. Well, no, they're his children, he says, doesn't he? Anyway, there's like a little goldfish slash human-y thing called Ponyo, who escapes her father and goes to the surface and befriends a boy called Sasuke, and yeah, they just go on like a little bit of an adventure, really, don't they? There's some environmental hazards that are affecting where they live, and it's just really the bond between Ponyo and Sasuke throughout the movie. It's if I was to compare it to any other Studio Ghibli film that we've talked about before, I'd probably say it's closer in spirit to My Neighbor Totoro. It's definitely aimed at that younger audience this time, I would say. But yeah, I was curious about this one because I know that you really, really love My Neighbor Totoro. You've gone on record saying it's your favorite one so far. It probably still is, even though we've talked about a lot more since then. Would you say this is in the spirit of that film? Did you also enjoy this one?
In the spirit of it, but I wouldn't say it's as good.
Okay.
I wouldn't put it up there in my top 3. It was okay. It was watchable. I watched it. It ended. I moved on with my life. No, that's literally how it was to me. It was just it was cool. The character designs were cool. The animation was cool. I like the music. This will be the first time I say that in a while. I like the music on it. Yeah, like it was cool, but to me it was just very average. It didn't really sit beyond that for me. It was just like, yep, that was nice.
I'm really surprised by that because I thought you really liked the sort of like the whimsical, like charming ones, like the switch your brain off kind of thing. But you know what I mean, like the happy-go-lucky kind of ones. What it was like to be a young one again back in the day, kind of thing. Like My Neighbor Totoro, I thought you'd really warm to this one. Not saying that you hate it, but I thought this would be like in the same like level as that. I love this one. This probably would be in like towards my top list. I was actually thinking about where I'd rank this one. And when it started off, it did take a little bit for me to warm up to this one. I was probably going to like rank it a B or something like that. But by the end of it, I would probably be ranking this an A. I thought it was charming as fuck. I thought it was wonderful. I had a great time with it. Even from like the opening frame, because Studio Ghibli hasn't really done anything like water related, has it? You know what I mean? Like underwater or anything like that. I think this was its first steps into that, and from the opening scene where you have like this beautiful sort of like wide shot of all the jellyfish underwater, it's literally one of the first frames in the film. I was just sort of like, yeah.
To me, it was very Fantasia for a while. It seemed very like that's the kind of feel the movie was going to give. Which actually went on for quite a while. It wasn't just like a 2-minute sort of intro. It was like quite a nice. So yeah, it gave quite Fantasia vibes for quite a while.
Yeah, no, I just from that opening shot of like the underwater world and all the creatures and how colorful it was, I thought I'm actually surprised it's taken Studio Ghibli this long to create something that's set underwater. But I thought it was absolutely outstanding. and just really just like a nice film. You know, it's, as I say, it's definitely aimed at a younger audience. There's no like crazy violence in this, like sometimes you get in some of the other Studio Ghibli films, and I actually kind of like that. It was one of the producers came to Miyazaki and just said like we should make a movie that's aimed predominantly at a much younger audience, because of the success of Howl's Moving Castle. And yeah, I think that Miyazaki was inspired by, like he mentioned, when he was a young boy, I think at like the age of 9 or something like that, he did read a copy of Hans Christian Andersen's The Little Mermaid. And there are some parallels in there. You have an underwater creature, a fish or a mermaid, who wishes to live on the surface and to grow
Who wears a
legs.
suit?
Who wears
Well,
a
not
suit?
him. No, I'm on about the other person. You know, the pink haired thing. He wears a suit. I was just thinking in my head. You know, like when he pops out.
Oh,
And
her father you're talking about?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. That's what I
Fujimoto.
was thinking in my head. So you know when he could pops out at the end. Like I just remember the foot, like in the like kind of coming out of the water.
Mhm.
One of my thoughts was just like, you know, his clothes should be wet. That was literally my first.
He has, maybe he's like fashioned waterproof. Well, the waterproof clothing is a thing. So you know, maybe it's not. He's a scientist. He's surrounded by like a breathing bubble. Maybe it's like all around his clothes as well.
He pops out of the water at the end.
He is a wizard man. He's a wizard man. You have the like the angle of the overprotective father that doesn't want his daughter to go up to the surface and tries to bring her back. You don't really have a sea witch. I thought Fujimoto was going to be like the main villain because he's kind of framed to be that way a little bit. Like you instinctively sort of you're following Ponyo, and you know she's trying to escape with all of her brothers and sisters, and you think like, oh, why is she trying to escape? Like he's like a villain or something, or he treats them horribly. And not really. As the film goes on, it's once again, it's another Studio Ghibli film where there isn't really a villain. At the beginning, Fujimoto kind of fills that role, but as the story evolves, you realize he's not really a villain. He just wants what's best for his daughter. Yeah, and then there was something about if there's like a true love's kiss thing that's sort of brought into it at the end, where, I guess, spoiler alert for the film, where Ponyo has the chance to live on the surface forever with Sasuke, and Sasuke has to accept her for who she is and then like kiss her or something like that. And they do mention, I think there is a throwaway line, if it doesn't work, then she will turn to sea foam or something like that. And I feel like that was a thing in Little Mermaid, wasn't it, to do with, yeah. So there's a few, there's a few aspects to it like that.
Yeah, I mean, it is. So yeah, I mean, I can see all that. I just aside from that, the vibe I got at the beginning was that quite Fantasia kind of, like it was about the scenery and about the colors and all that. That's the kind of vibe I got from it. If you take away the underwater bits.
Yeah, the animation is really nice in this, but I think it's fair to say, and I think this was like stylistically chosen to be like this. They are quite simple designs. There's not crazy levels of detail in it like some of the previous Studio Ghibli movies. Some of like the shapes look quite simplified, but that's not to say that the animation's bad. It's absolutely breathtaking animation once again. But I think it fits that sort of more childlike tone a little bit more, with the more simple pared down animation to go with it.
A very similar animation style to My Neighbor Totoro.
Yes.
Why did I think this movie was way lower down the list? I always thought it was much sooner. You know what I mean? I don't know why, but I always saw this name for ages.
Yeah. This is one of the ones that's talked about the most. Like honestly, like the last few ones that we've talked about, what we talked about, like Tales from Earthsea, like I don't even hear much about like The Cat Returns or My Neighbor the Yamadas. We've had a few sprinkled in there. This is one that's talked about. I think this is quite well loved by a lot of people. This one, I can absolutely see why. Big thing with this film as well is that Miyazaki wanted to move more towards traditional animation. The last few, I think this sort of started to come in with Princess Mononoke. We did have more of this blend of some digital elements in there as well, which we've never actually been against. We've actually commended, and Disney was doing this around the early 2000s as well, with the likes of Treasure Planet and Atlantis and things like that, where they would start to marry two styles together. You would see more of those digital elements coming into the film, but the film would still have enough traditional animated elements to go with it. With this one, they actually shut down the computer graphics section of the studio, and it was all hand-drawn animation. They wanted to go for more sort of like simple lines and simple colors in the film, and just push more towards that traditional animation style. I think it was Miyazaki went to a museum, like an art museum. I think it could have been in London, and he saw this picture that just blew him away, and he says that we need to up our game. Like, our animation has become lackluster, and we need to improve ourselves. I don't think that was the case. I think Studio Ghibli animation, we've always said, has looked incredible. For me, it sort of peaked with Spirited Away. I thought Howl's Moving Castle was very nice as well, but I wouldn't go so far as to say that their animation was bad. But I do like how this was maybe more of like a return to form, and the animation did feel more like when we were talking about the first few Studio Ghibli films when we started this retrospective before the digital stuff came into it, and it feels a little bit more richer maybe. I don't know.
One thing I've never, I mean, obviously I have noticed the 3D elements stuff because I've spoken about it, but it is something, it's blended very, very well within them. It's not like I noticed a big jump of, oh, no, you can see it. It just felt nice, smooth transition.
Yeah, I mean, if we compare the animation, this is probably unfair because I know that this other film was meant to be a short film, but The Cat Returns, one of the first things I said was, and I really like that film, but I said, oh, the animation here looks really digital. We've talked about, I think when we did Tales from Earthsea last week, we said that it kind of just looks like any generic anime. It didn't really have that added, this is the stamp of Studio Ghibli quality on it. It looked great. It looked fine, but it wasn't anything mind-blowing, whereas this one, there were entire sequences in this that I just thought were absolutely breathtaking. I mentioned the establishing shots under the water, but one of the bits that just absolutely knocked me for six was what I've used as the wallpaper, the bit with the storm, and Ponyo's desperately trying to get to Sasuke as Lisa's driving to avoid these huge crashing waves. But some of the waves themselves aren't actually made of water. It's like it's the fish. Like there's so many big blue fish, like catfish. And it's, and then you've got Ponyo like running across the fish. I thought that whole action segment was masterful. Just thinking about how they did that frame by frame and how long that must have taken to animate the fish and the waves. And
her, you know, her dad.
Yeah.
Doesn't he look a little bit like he should be in Enough's Enough?
I never really thought of that when I watched it.
He
did remind me of someone. Maybe it was like the colourful coat.
Yeah, I don't know who, but there was someone.
Enough. Maybe we can sing more Beatles covers because that's what we want. So let's just talk more about the film then, the characters then. The main driving force of this is really that bond between Ponyo and Sasuke, and I thought they just absolutely perfected that. We always talk about Studio Ghibli, and Miyazaki's great at this, especially just capturing like the spirit of what it was to be like 5 years old, 6 years old, or whatever it was. They really feel believable, and I admire that sort of like the tenacity of them and the spirit of those characters that really comes through in the film. I thought it was a really, really charming sort of, I guess you can say, relationship between the two characters. Yeah, I thought it was just heartwarming. I really did all the way through. I thought Ponyo looked a little bit creepy in some parts though. You know, when she's got like the chicken legs with like the sort of like the blank face.
What's that other fish though in that thing that's not like Cleo, but it's another little fish? It's like like an orange fish. I don't know. There's something else with a fish animation that I was reminded of, but I forgot.
In this film or in Pinocchio?
Like in something else. Like there was another fish that it reminded me of, but I can't think of what that fish is.
Nemo?
No, Nemo's shit. We don't like.
Well, I said help, I'm a fish. I don't know if it was that one.
No.
There was an orange fish in that.
I don't know. There's another one. It'll come to me.
Okay. yeah, like, do you have anything further to add to like Ponyo and Sasuke? Let's talk about the
Yeah,
characters.
no, that's fine. I was just on a different tangent in my brain of. No, to be fair, it's the thing is the whole vibe of it being like My Neighbor Totoro. It's got that very similar, two people, that kind of like buddy kind of thing, and it's so I can really see that. I just think I think there was more mystery with My Neighbor Totoro that was always a bit like, well, what's this? This is a bit weird. And I like that, and I like the whole. When you're kind of left at the end of a movie or something thinking, hang on, I don't really get like why would you know what I mean? You kind of and there wasn't as much with this. So I think it just had a little bit less of that charm for me because it was just more of just a whimsical story, whereas the other one was a whimsical kind of like could be a little bit of a ghost story in here, could be and you're like, that's quite cool. So that's why that was always, a bit of my favorite. But yeah, I think the relationship between a lot of the characters was great. I think the way they were like there wasn't really a evil presence to, rather than just saying there wasn't like an evil character, but there wasn't like a bad presence. You always get some characters feeling, oh, that one's a bit of a dick, really. Like, you know what I mean? A majority in this, it's all the characters are quite level-headed, down to earth. It's that kind of that, when you're a kid and you watch a movie and you're just like, I wish I could live in that world. It's that kind of vibe you get from everyone.
Yeah.
So, I think that works really well. I like the when I say chase sequences, like when they're sort of like they go up against each other, where like for instance, their father, like when he rises from the ocean, that sort of thing, where they're appearing. I liked a lot of that going on. It was very classic cartoon kind of thing happening with the way the conflict in the situations was going on. Yeah, it was a good vibe. I just saw the vibe maybe a little bit differently to where you saw it.
I think that was an interesting point you brought up there about how Totoro has this sort of like mythical, spiritual edge to it, and where this was just sort of like a very matter-of-fact story. It was like a fun little whimsical journey about a fish who becomes human and befriends a 5-year-old boy. Like that what you see is what you get, and stuff just kind of happens as well. But you're sort of along for it. Like we need a boat. Like the place is flooded. We need to go and save Lisa. But all I've got is a toy boat. And Ponyo's just like, oh, well, I can make it big. Boom. And you're like, wait, how can she do? Oh, she's magical. She needs to be a human for this bit. Okay, she needs to be a fish for this bit. She needs to make the boat big. And things just kind of happen. But that's fine because that's sort of part of the tone of the film and the spirit of the film.
Which is, again, like old cartoons. They're like, okay, we'll do this. We'll do it. And it just happens because it's meant to.
Yeah. I actually really like the sort of like the aspect of Lisa as well, who's I didn't know if she was Sasuke's mom at the beginning because he keeps calling her Lisa, like he never calls her like mom or anything like that. It's always Lisa. So I thought, is she a guardian at first or like a stepmom kind of character? Like I wasn't sure at first, but there's like a hint that Lisa and that the boat captain or whatever it was, who's the father, and they've split apart, and he still has feelings for her, and she says, oh, he's an idiot, and she's very dismissive of him. It alludes to this greater backstory of sort of like the state of their relationship and where we find Lisa's character. But I really liked her character too. And I was going to ask, because there's a moment where when she's like in the underwater haven towards the end of the film, she's speaking to the goddess, Grandma Mare. I wondered if there was any significance to that, because we never hear that conversation. We never hear what gets said. But Grandma Mare is specifically
I like the
speaking
animation with that underwater.
Mhm.
I really like, because it reminded me of because obviously where the other characters sort of like, oh, it's underwater, they get kind of the surprise of it. It reminded me of the SpongeBob thing where like they go into the place, put the helmets on. It reminded me of that.
Yeah. I really liked the animation on the spirit though, Grandma Mare. I thought that was wonderful how they did that. The bit where Fujimoto speaks to her and she's sort of like gliding in the water and emerges out of the water. I thought it was absolutely beautiful animation on her. But yeah, I was go on, sorry.
And we get Liam Neeson.
Oh yeah, of course you got the English language version. I watched it in Japanese, so you got some great voice actors in this one. I was having a look. Yeah, Fujimoto is Liam Neeson, and you got Kate Blanchett, Galadriel herself, as Grandma Mare. Very similar character, actually. Now I think about it, to Grandma Mare.
It's really weird hearing people that you know, because it takes away the illusion of it being a character. You're like, oh, it's them.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
that's obviously something that I've never really had with any of the Ghibli films so far, watching them in the native language. But it's done for international appeal, isn't it? You can understand why they do it. Yeah, you had Matt Damon, Tina Fey, and then you had Frankie Jonas and Noah Cyrus
it
as
could
the
be
main
anyone.
two. Hmm?
Tina Fey could be anyone. She's so one-dimensional. You could literally just play the piece of paper on the road and be like, yeah.
You had Betty White in this movie as well.
Did.
I like the coziness of this, and this is something that we've talked about with a lot of the Ghibli films, is that I always think they absolutely nail the settings, whether it's a village or whatever. Oh, sorry?
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, that's cozy. That's a cozy
Yes.
movie.
Yeah.
Because it's like a day in the life.
Yeah. And that's what I love about a lot of these Ghibli films, is that so much of it is in the like idyllic setting, wherever it happens to be. There's a lot of sort of just like everyday village life, like a very quiet, simplistic life. That's what a lot of the themes are in the Studio Ghibli films, is even ones where it's set in like a hustling, bustling city. It's like we need to remember like the spirituality of, getting in touch with nature and sort of like grounding yourself and keeping that part of your spirit alive. But when we get like these nice little seaside towns like we do in this one, and we've had that a few times before, Kiki's Delivery Service I thought was a beautiful setting there. Again, like a seaside, like a quaint little. A lot of them are based on like European places, aren't
I feel
they?
like that movie is one of the more forgettable ones now. Now I've come to think about it.
We've watched it. I mean, we only watched it the once, didn't we? I don't know. I still have a lot of memories of that one. I seem to remember really liking that one.
Yeah.
And that was like a lot of these are like a day in the life, aren't they?
Better than Pompoko, though, isn't it?
I liked Pompo.
No.
Let's see. The music. The music is absolutely wonderful. I was actually already familiar with the tune of this one. I can't remember if I watched a review at some point but I'd heard Ponyo, 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 fishy in the sea, or whatever. I'd heard that. That was the only part of the theme that I knew. And I thought it was wonderful how it was woven into the score.
Again, like My Neighbor Totoro, it's that singing about the character.
Yeah. Yeah. Very much sort of like a spiritual successor, I would say, in terms of, like musicality. Very similar, like nursery rhyme like theme. It really captures the spirit completely.
You know what they should have done?
Yeah.
They should have properly connected them, right? And this fish, they should have been singing about it. Then at the end, you should have had the little girl who's now grown up from My Neighbor Totoro, and then she just shoots the fish with like a bow and arrow and it goes straight through it. She's like, yeah, fuck you, and then leaves. Because it's like, you're not replacing Totoro. That's what they should have done.
If you were going to combine this with Totoro, you need that moment in Totoro, where they think that the little girl's gone missing or they think she's drowned, and they find a shoe, don't they? And they're like, we don't know if this shoe belongs to your sister. And then she like runs and gets there, and she's like, oh, thank God the shoe doesn't belong to my sister. Like, she's still going to be fine. I'm like, yeah, but who does that shoe belong to? Like, there's still an issue here.
To when, like, how many times have you been driving down the motorway and you see a pair of shoes or just one shoe?
Yeah.
I don't understand. Like, one, how do your shoes come off on the motorway? And two, why one?
Yeah,
the weirdest one when you see three and you're like, that's gone the other way.
Yeah. But no, the music was wonderful in this. I thought it complemented the film wonderfully. Joe Hisaishi returning once again, longtime collaborator of Miyazaki. Great stuff. Love the soundtrack. It's just completely heartwarming. And yeah, I guess I just sort of became really enamored with the quest. I thought that, Sasuke was a really likable protagonist, captures the sort of like the heroic go get 'em attitude that, some 5-year-olds have. You can conquer the world, essentially. And I thought Ponyo, that friendship between the two of them and that sort of romance, I guess, between the two of them by the end of it blossomed really naturally and believably. I was completely swept up by it. The bit where they're in the boat and they're trying to find Lisa and they go on their little quest, if you will, and then Ponyo's magic starts fading away. I was actually really concerned. I was like, I don't know how this story's going to go. I assumed that it would have a happy ending because of the natural tone of the film. It'd be really weird if it took like a really dark turn at the end and she did turn to sea foam or something. You know what I mean? Or
what happens in Little Mermaid.
I know. Yeah, exactly. So I'm glad they didn't go that route with it. But yeah, it's just a really bloody charming little movie, really, and had a great time with it.
Yeah,
Did you have any sort of like favorite sequences or favorite moments or anything like that?
I mean, I like the bit underwater with the boat. It reminded me of the Pirates of the Caribbean thing with the thing, and I was like, oh, it could be like it wasn't like that, but it could be like that. You
Mhm.
know, just like with the air bubble, and that just I just took my brain back there basically. Yeah, I mean, it was all quite. I This is the thing. I don't think there was really any proper standout points. I mean, when you know, with the sea, for instance, it's like the black kind of with the eyes, and it got like I like
Mhm.
that when it's used as like an attack thing. So there's some really cool stand-up points like that, but I don't think there wasn't really many. Was there any like differences? You go, oh, this stands above the rest.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just a lot of it's just the setting for me, really. I guess just because that underwater world, like we haven't seen that in any of the films so far, so it felt distinctly different and really cool having this new environment. I did like all the stuff at the at the old people's home as well. I thought that was kind of sweet how Sasuke's character keeps, you know, checking in with them and having a chat with them, a
There's
bit of
always a
banter with them.
grandma, isn't there, in anime?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We got a few of them in this. We got Betty White in this in your version anyway. And there is a bit of a ticking clock towards the end. There's the whole thing of because Ponyo's now become human, she's sort of like offset her magic has sort of like offset the natural balance of things in the world. The moon is sort of like falling out of its orbit, and the tides are rising, and you know the world is becoming devastated. Which I don't know if I needed all of that, but it does add a bit of a ticking clock, and I guess you could say that Ponyo and Sasuke sort of like coming together at the end is the unity between the two peoples. Between you could even extrapolate it out again, similar themes that we've seen in other Ghibli films. How Ponyo symbolizes like nature and the seas, and Sasuke's for mankind, and it's you know nature and mankind need to work together and become one essentially to make sure
Mhm.
that everything's okay and the moon doesn't fall out of orbit and everything's fine and good in the world. There is some environmentalism stuff as well, like where you've got the like the fishing net at the beginning that Ponyo gets caught up in, and there's all like litter and you know vehicles and junk in the water and pollution and whatnot. So there are aspects of that as well. Not so much as some of the other Ghibli films, I don't think, but I think it's all there, that love of nature and the seas and everything in it.
There's that
Um,
in
yeah.
every Japanese thing, isn't there?
Well, sorry.
They like nature, don't they, in Japan?
They do in these films, yeah. No, especially. I mean, I haven't seen like much anime outside of these films at the moment, so I don't know if that's a common occurrence. But I don't know. I like it. I haven't got bored of that theme yet, and I don't think I ever will. I respect it, so it's all good. We've got a few comments to get to. Bath Time says, "Watching any horror classics over Halloween?" We actually are, aren't we? We're off to the cinema in I think it's the first Monday of November. So it's sort of around Halloween weekend, just slightly after. But you have recently read The Exorcist, and
I
but you've never seen the film.
need to stop surrounding myself with so much horror recently because I woke up the other night. I thought there was a demon coming after me in my dream. So I need to stop with the horror.
Pazuzu is on its way. So yeah,
Have you seen the
you
statue of Pazuzu with the giant penis?
wait, what?
That's legit a thing.
Yeah,
Pazuzu.
no, yeah.
That's what I mean. But have you seen the thing? It's really
I've
weird.
never seen Pazuzu or his giant penis. No, I
It's
can't
a
say I have.
really weird thing. I was like, why is the statue like that? I don't know.
Is it going to give me like a huge inferiority complex if I see the statue?
I
Is it
mean,
all in proportion with the statue? I guess is what I'm saying.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I guess so. It's just a very strange artistic choice.
But yeah, you've recently read the book. I think you liked it, didn't you? You thought it was it
Yeah,
a good book?
the book was great. I like the book. Yeah, but I've never seen the movie yet.
So we're off to the cinema. It's the director's cut. Now, I did say to you that I prefer the theatrical cut, but it's not to say like, oh, it's devastating. Like the director's cut is awful. Like don't watch it. I just have a preference. I just think there are better transitions and better scenes. I think in the theatrical version, and I like the more sort of haunting, ambiguous ending rather than a Casablanca reference, which I thought was slightly out of place. But we're going to be off to see it. It's an absolutely certified Halloween horror classic, and you're getting to experience it on the big screen for the first time. So I think it'd be pretty cool. I have seen it at the cinema before, and it was a wonderful experience, and it's still as shocking now as it was back in the 70s, I'm sure. So yeah, no, that'll be a good one. In terms of, I quite like watching horror films that I haven't seen before, though. So I am looking for some suggestions. So if you guys have seen any decent horror films recently, or anything you can recommend, please do.
I have watched the latest Conjuring movie, but then I saw the third one. I was like, nah, I'm all right, you know.
See, I still haven't seen the third one. I haven't seen the third one or the new one. So
it's not the worst movie ever, but it's not great.
Carl says, went to see the latest Tron film last night. Great soundtrack, 9 Inch Nails, stunning visuals, but terrible story. Yeah. Have you seen the Tron films? Either of them?
Either of them? What? Either of the three?
Well, this is the third one now, but like you got the original Tron from the 80s, Tron Legacy.
Only the first one, like years ago.
What do you think?
Well, I was maybe 5, so I probably thought like, Blue Man.
See, my opinion on the Tron movies, I think I did watch and review them on a previous channel that shall not be mentioned. And I think that I've only ever seen the pair of them once, but my thoughts were that I love the world. I think like visually it's really cool. I like the idea of the Tron world and sort of like the lore behind it.
Like a dude named Rizzler or some shit.
What?
Doesn't Tron turn into like a dude called Rizzler or something?
I can't remember. I
don't know, but all I know from the second one is in Kingdom Hearts, and he does something. I was like, this must be from Tron Legacy because it just came out. I've never seen it.
No, I think it's all based on the first Tron, that level.
No. There's another Kingdom Hearts game that it's in as well.
Oh, is that? Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not sure.
So I was like, okay, maybe this is Tron Legacy.
But my opinion on the story is just like, like I don't really care about the characters of the story, but the look of it is really, really cool. I think you could do something really sweet with the Tron films, and I just don't feel like they've achieved that. Plus, the new one's got Jared Leto in it. And have you seen the picture, actually? He went to a screening of the film, Jared Leto. So he's like the main one in the new Tron film that's come out. And you sometimes get celebrities for like a premiere or like an opening weekend or something that will like give like a bit of a intro to the film before it comes on. And there was maybe like 20 people in the cinema. It's just dead. It's just like, oh no.
People don't usually say that. Like you couldn't say that about an orphanage, could you? You couldn't go in and say, the scenery looks amazing. Don't really care for the characters that are here.
Probably not. Bathsime says, The Exorcist is fucking great, with the only caveat that social media has made anything a possessed person says fairly tame compared to expressing an opinion on Twitter.
Isn't the face for the girl is used everywhere, isn't it? It's used in loads of things.
It used to be on a lot of memes, didn't it? Like, I remember you had... Do you ever play that, like, Scary Maze game? This is, like, back... Yeah,
it was
and that was always...
Remember when they were such a thing, where there was loads of things that would jump out and scare you?
Yeah,
Like, you went through a phase of everything being a horror thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the creepiest things I find is when they're not actually doing a jump scare, but, like, I was watching this video, and I don't even know why it came up. I think it was... I can't remember what it was to do with, but then randomly... It just went a bit darker, and there was some random face there just appeared for 2 seconds and disappeared. It went back to the normal video. I was like, that's creepier. We didn't even try. It was just weird. Like, here's a face. I was like, okay, that's weird. And that makes you shudder more. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen Strangers. Yes, The Strangers, with the people like...
I've never seen it. I know which one you're talking about, though. I remember the poster.
Like, I barely jump at movies. It's just what happens. But, like, that was a moment where... I was watching it, and this woman was like looking for her keys, and then just in the background, you just saw this dude's head there, and then he was there for like 2 seconds and disappeared. And I was like, that made me shudder. That was weird. But they're the better ones, but we don't have many horror movies that do things
sometimes
like that.
Sometimes less is more. Yeah. I think jump scares can be earned. I think if they've created that sense of atmosphere and have built that tension over a prolonged period of time, I'm fine with them throwing in a jump scare. It's just when you get horror films where that is what they have to rely on to elicit that response from the audience. and someone will come out and go, "Oh, that film was like so scary, I jumped like a million times," and you go, "Well, yeah, it's startling. You can crank the volume on the soundtrack really where you had that where you've put like earphones in before and like played a song, but you forgot you had it cranked up to full volume, and you're like, oh fucking hell, like it makes you jump. It's that response." But I'm like, but what was actually scary about it? What was that sense of dread or, building that atmosphere? But some people just like to jump, and some people think that that's scary, and and fair play to them.
Why do we intentionally scare ourselves a feeling that we don't like, and go, that was fun?
There is some like weird fun to it, though. I guess, isn't there? Sometimes I don't know.
It's weird because it's that mechanism, that defense mechanism that we don't
fight
like.
Or flight, isn't it?
Scared. Fear is like a genuine response to things to make sure we don't kill ourselves.
I think it's like just like you could argue it's like a sense of adrenaline, like an adrenaline rush kind of thing. It's like, why do people go to theme parks? Why do people do skydives or bungee jumps or things like that?
Yeah.
Carl says, I'm looking forward to seeing Shelby Oaks, Chris Stuckman's film. Yeah, I mean, he's got to put his money where his mouth is, isn't he? Because he's talked. Well, he doesn't talk shit about films anymore because he's being very political. Now he's getting into the director's game. He can't say a film's bad, so he just won't talk about it. So he's lost a little bit of credibility for me. I'm not even a massive Chris Stuckman fan. I do find a lot of his reviews kind of boring. It was probably all right back in the day. He seems to just be a bit sort of like monotone and unengaging for me to watch anyway. But yeah, I mean, I hope it's good. I actually haven't seen a trailer for it, so it will be very, very interesting.
I never watch trailers anymore.
Well, they just give so much away now, don't they? It's sort of, it used to be like an art form to create a trailer that doesn't really give anything away, but like hooks you in. Weapons did that. The film that came out earlier this year, that's probably one of my favorite trailers I've ever seen in terms of getting you on board to see it and not revealing anything, just giving you what the mystery is, what the whole crux of the film is.
If I'm already sold on it, that's what the trailer's supposed to be. It's to sell you on it. So if I'm already sold on it, there's no point watching a trailer. I'm like, I'll watch it anyway. So I rarely watch trailers now.
Bath Time says, we're watching The Skeleton Key. It's voodoo and has an amazing ending. Have you ever seen The Skeleton Key?
I have not. I thought The Skeleton Key was a kid's book about a dude with a special key. Like, genuinely, that's what I thought. Like, Universal Key. That's what I thought it was about.
Yeah.
So the fact that this is, I don't know. Apparently it's not. But then I also saw a movie about a guy dressed as a skeleton with a shotgun. That, I don't know if that's the same thing.
Probably not. Carl says Trick or Treat is great.
Is that like Toys R Us? But
yeah, I was thinking that. Jeffrey. It's Jeffrey with a shotgun.
Jeffrey.
Yeah, Bath Time says, try Skeleton Key, voodoo mystery investigation with more creeping horror than jump scares. Oh,
so
okay.
Not a good book, then. Let
me check The Skeleton Key.
I thought it was like a trilogy. There was like, I don't know.
It's from 2005. Yeah, American supernatural folk horror. Oh, Kate Hudson, John Hurt's in the movie, apparently. Oh, interested. Yeah, I might have to check that one out. Thanks for the recommendation.
And it doesn't have a man dressed as a skeleton with a shotgun.
He's probably replied, but in case he hasn't, Bath Time, does it have a man dressed as a skeleton with a shotgun in the film? We need to know. And yeah, Carl says Trick or Treat is a great underrated horror film.
What else is an underrated horror film? Satan's Little Helper. It was a little boy that goes around trick-or-treating, and then he meets this dude dressed up as like Satan, and he doesn't speak, and he goes around trick-or-treating with him, and Satan goes around killing the people so he gets the candy. Great.
Fucking weird. Weird stuff. Bad Time says Event Horizon is another very underrated horror, sci-fi Lovecraft stuff. Yeah, I've never watched that. Is that with... Oh, God, I was going to say Sam Neill, but I think I'm thinking of the other sort of like Lovecraft film, which was In the Mouth of Madness, John Carpenter. No, Sam Neill is in Event Horizon, isn't he? Let me check this shit. I swear he is.
A good movie is Halloween. They were good.
Yeah, Sam Neill is in it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, no, I've heard good things about Event Horizon. Let's see. Bath Time says The Witch with Anya Taylor-Joy is an interesting horror film as well. It's very Marmite, though. Yeah, no, I quite like that film. I've seen that.
The one with the Gollum eyes, kind of like Amanda Seyfried or whatever her name is.
Yeah. Bath Time says the Bilbo jump scare is probably one of the best done ones. Yeah, no, I'd agree with that. That traumatized me for years.
That was fun.
Carl says I'm watching the original Halloween. Good, yeah, classic, and the Shining extended cut on Halloween night. Brilliant stuff. Yeah, no, the Shining extended cut. I think I've seen it twice. I remember watching it on TV one night, and I was like, "Wait a minute, I don't remember this scene." I was like, "Oh, okay, this is the extended one." And then they did actually put it in cinemas. I think this was right around the time where we were out of lockdown and cinemas were opening again. They were doing a lot of rescreenings of older films, and I went to The Shining. I went to a lot of horrors actually around then, and I didn't realize, but it was the extended edition. So I finally got to see that. The alternate ending has never been released though. Someone out there is sitting on a film reel of the original cut of The Shining, where they have the hospital scene at the very end. But yeah, no, I'd love to see that scene at some point. Bath Time says it's probably not seen as a horror film, but I think Apocalypto is a great Halloween film. I've never watched it at Halloween, but it is a fucking great movie. It just cements for me Mel Gibson as one of the best directors in the business. Like, I don't think he's made a dud as a film yet. Like, all of his films have been incredible for me.
What's that one that's set on an island and there's this dude that he goes around killing these people and he throws them in a swimming pool and throws a TV in with them and they will electrocute in the swimming pool.
I've never seen that at all. I have no idea.
That's the thing that I saw once. I don't know, but it's set on an island and there's these people partying on an island and one of them he chases this woman in a maze and one of them he throws a TV in a swimming pool. I don't know, but that was a thing.
Let's see.
I thought it was Scooby Doo, but I don't think it is.
Where do we get up to? Sorry. Bath Time says, if you want an amazing B movie, try Bubba Hotep. It's about Elvis fighting a mummy in an old people's home, and it's actually amazing. Bubba Hotep, is that the one with Bruce Campbell in? I think I've heard that mentioned. I've never seen it. And I fucking love Bruce Campbell. I kind of wish that Bruce Campbell had made it much bigger, because I do think he had that sort of leading man quality to him, definitely. But I think it's also kind of cool the trajectory that his career has taken, where he is sort of the master of these sort of B-movie comedy slapstick films. Yeah, no, he's really, really good. I will add that to list. You know what? I will officially add that to my list. Not like, oh, I will add it to my list of ones to watch. I am legitimately opening my letterboxd right now, and I'm going to add that to my watch list.
Isn't it funny how the lists we have in life are just like really long, and things have been on that list for the last 20 years?
Yeah.
And
here we go, watch list.
They keep moving down because we go, actually, well, to be fair, that needs to go for, and then before you know it, there's stuff that sits on the list. You're 90 years old and it's been on the list since you were 16.
I feel that completely. Let's see. No, I didn't watch it. How do I add to my watch list? I'm trying. I haven't been on this for ages. Dale, Bath Times responded to you, by the way. No armed skeletons in the skeleton key.
No, this wasn't a skeleton. This was a man dressed as a skeleton. He had a skeleton outfit, like an outfit.
I feel like that's also sort of intended in what he said.
I don't know, but I don't know. Why is it called a skeleton key? Is it about a universal key? Or is it a key given by skeletons?
These are the questions worth asking.
That's what I want to know.
Oh, apparently that one with like the TVs was called Barry. So I walked right into that one. I so walked into that one. Barrymore's Island. That's fucking brilliant.
Is it about
that was good.
These different coloured skeletons, and next to it, there's writing about what they all represent. So it's a skeleton key. See?
Yeah. I don't know how to add this to my watch list. This is really annoying. Yeah, I'll figure it out, but I will add it to my list, I promise. Carl says, speaking of the former channel, I rewatched your reaction to The Force Awakens, and it's so funny you're the only one saying it's rubbish. Yeah. Well, actually, my reaction video, I think, was quite excited, wasn't it? Because I did that with my mate Sal, who's actually he's had his second baby today, which is cool. If that's the one that you're talking about,
you're gonna go, oh, he's actually dead.
But no,
That's what that's where I thought this was going. I was like, oh.
So if that's the review that you're talking about, yeah, I mean that was the first teaser that came out. Like, boy, we were so excited. It was the first Star Wars movie in 10 years. Everyone was. It's why it made over 2 billion. You know, everyone was like fucking insane about it. I actually can't remember what I said in my initial reviews. I actually think I know I was very negative towards The Force Awakens. I think there was always a promise of, yeah, but we'll see where it goes. But even then, I was like, this is just a retread of A New Hope. I remember being there that opening night at midnight, and the film finished and hit credits, and I just kind of sat in my chair like, I didn't like that film. I can usually tell very quickly, honestly, like within the first 10 minutes of, the dialogue doesn't feel the same. It doesn't have the same vibe to it. I'm not enjoying this as much. Like the writing's weak, the characters aren't great. That's kind of always in the back of my mind within like the first 10 minutes. And sometimes a film can win you over, or it can improve or can get better. I'm not saying that can't happen, but most of the time, if you've got that inclination towards the beginning of the film, that tends to continue throughout it. Oh, Carl says it was the one where you'd all seen it. Yeah, I guess for me, the writing was on the wall right from that first movie. I mean, I did enjoy Rogue One, and I do think that Rogue One has improved because of Andor. I'm not saying it's the most amazing film ever, but I did enjoy that. That gave me more of a Star Wars feel than Force Awakens did. I don't know.
Didn't happen.
And then The Last Jedi was whatever it was, wasn't it? But, you know, sometimes you're in a room full of people that just love it because of the name. And it can be quite a difficult experience sometimes where you're sort of voicing, you know, your voice is, your opinions are falling on deaf ears. And that's fine, but it can be a challenge sometimes. Yeah. I mean, I was always called the guy that likes nothing, you know. Oh, it's Chris's opinion. He fucking hates everything. I'm like, I do actually like things, though. Oh boy, yeah, that was a trip. That was 7 years of my life. That was interesting.
A Snow White TV series, an origin story for all the dwarves.
What, the CGI ones from the new Snow White movie? We never did review that, did we? That's quite funny. That was like the greatest review on our channel that never happened.
I did watch it. It was so boring.
Yeah.
I watched maybe half an hour. I couldn't stomach it.
I just can't do it. I just can't do it with some of these Disney films. Yeah. I'm not ruling it out. We'll probably get to it when we get to it, but I mean, I feel like the hype's died down now about that film.
It was just a bad movie.
Let's
see. If they release another In-Betweener series, that's going to be bad.
Yeah, so I don't know if they've officially announced that In-Betweeners is coming back, but it's heavily rumored, isn't it?
Though.
Yeah.
Well, I think it is, but it's really weird. It's also weird that it's a series and not a movie. Like, they've got enough for a series.
Bath Time says dwarves, and Dwarf 3. What a trilogy. No, we need to have 3 as part of the actual word dwarf. Which letter would you substitute?
F. Kind of. Yeah.
No. You don't
put it upside down.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. Get rid of the W and switch the W with the 3. There you go. Oh, interesting. Carl says, would you call Donnie Darko a Halloween film? Is it on the shelf somewhere?
No, but I would call Die Hard a Christmas film.
Say that again? Oh, Die Hard, yes.
Die Hard a Christmas film.
I think when I watched this, I think I watched the director's cut version. I have got the theatrical cut version in here as well. But I only watched this once, and I watched it really late at night. This is a fucking weird movie.
You know what? When they're all out, we should go and see an Avatar evening of every Avatar movie.
Oh, God. Well, I mean, we've already got I guess, we may as well announce it now. Next Monday, Studio Ghibli is still ongoing. We'll be talking about that every Wednesday. I need to actually check what the next Studio Ghibli one is, but Monday we'll be talking about The Wizard of Oz. We're doing a bit of a sort of like a mini Wizard of Oz retrospective in the lead up to Wicked Part 2, a film, a musical which I have never seen. I still haven't seen Wicked Part 1. but I will in a few weeks' time. And you get to see Ariana Grande in part 2 for Wicked for Good.
It's a good movie.
Well, we don't know yet. It could be fucking diabolical. But yeah, would I call Donnie Darko a Halloween film? I would. I think I always thought it was like a straight up horror one because all I saw was the rabbit character, and I thought this looks like something that Tim Burton forgot to draw.
And then you watch Friends and realize it's not that bad.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Bath Time would call Donnie Darko a load of overrated bollocks.
Just like all about the Green Mile, load of overrated bollocks.
Oh, you need to
and the
hush your mouth.
Fucking
no more spicy takes. Bath Time says, "What channel is that, Carl? He never ever gives me any lore about that." Carl, feel free to privately message Bath Time about any lore, should you wish. Yeah, there is history and things and lore. There is deep lore, but good luck to him. Carl says Wicked is great, Chris. Yeah, that's what I've heard from everyone. Literally, I think I'm the only human on this planet that has not watched Wicked.
Word to describe Wicked should be Wicked. You can't call it another thing. It's Wicked is Wicked. You can't say another. That's the only thing that can be left to describe it.
So I listened to the musical soundtrack, like the Broadway one, and I asked you, I think it was like last week, is there a moment in Wicked where someone says like, "Oh, this is Wicked," like they actually name drop it, and it is sung in one of the songs in this part 2 coming out, I think.
Oh yeah, I can't remember any of the songs that are supposed to be in part 2 though. I thought they used up the big ones.
I think it's the first. I think it will actually be like the opening song of part 2. They're talking about how great it is that, you know, like the Wicked Witch is gone or hasn't been seen or anything, and everything's wonderful. What, sorry?
That's part 1.
Well, no, it ends where she fucks off, doesn't it? After Defying Gravity. Yeah, so this will be the first song of part 2 where they're saying, oh no, it's not like the witch is dead thing. Like this is just how everything, because there's a time gap, isn't there? There's a time jump where it's like everything's on the up and up, like we're all looking pretty good, and this life is wicked or something like that. Like that's one of the lyrics. So I don't know how I feel about advertising that channel, by the way. Let's just allude to the deep lore, shall we? Let's just allude to it. Right. Let's see what Studio Ghibli movie we have coming up next. So I should prepare this beforehand, shouldn't I? If you want to stall for time.
That's it. My Friend Rocky. That's what I'm going to take a guess on.
Oh, okay. No, so next week we've got Arrietty, which is the one that's based on The Borrowers. That should be cool.
Is it actually based on The Borrowers?
Yeah, Arrietty clock, yeah. Yeah, the clock family are 4-inch tall people who live anonymously in another family's residence, borrowing simple items to make their home. Life changes for the clocks when their teenage daughter Arrietty is discovered. Yeah, it's The Borrowers. See, I'm so used to the one with John Goodman. That's a great movie. Jim Broadbent.
Yeah.
It's a good movie.
And loads of Harry Potter cast is in it as well.
Who?
Loads of the Harry Potter cast is in it.
Yeah, we've got Ron Weasley's dad.
Yep.
Who I forgot the name of the actor, which is really bad. Oh yeah, Jim Broadbent, of course, is in. Yeah, of course he is. Draco Malfoy is one of the main kid, isn't it? Yeah. Is that it? Is it those three? Is there anyone else?
I think it's those three. Those are the three I was thinking of.
Because I think Hugh Laurie's in it, but I'm like, yeah, no, he wasn't. He'd have been good in Harry Potter, I think. Actually, Hugh Laurie, I can imagine him as a character in Harry Potter.
He could have played one of the ghosts.
Yeah. Right then, I think we'll round it off there. So we will be back on Monday, as I mentioned, for The Wizard of Oz. So that should be pretty cool to talk about that. I'm just trying to think, could we cram another review in? Yeah, so we'll have to talk about a schedule for Return to Oz, because I was going to say, well, we're seeing Exorcist that night. So 2 weeks on Monday. So we're going to have to adjust Return to Oz. But actually, Return to Oz could be a pretty good review to do for Halloween, because that film is fucking terrifying. And it has got a pumpkin head in there. So that works.
Is there a cartoon version of Return to Oz? Because I swear I've seen a cartoon version.
I've never seen it. I don't think so.
Down I have. Swear down.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Bad Time says skeleton key review. It's just going to be you talking, so saying how disappointed you are that it isn't about a skeleton with a shotgun.
I still want to know what kind of key it is, whether it's a universal key, whether it's a dude with a shotgun for some reason, I don't know, or it's a load of skeletons with something. I just want to know what kind of skeleton key is this, because I thought it was a kid's book until a couple of seconds ago.
Right, so let's round it off there then. So Wizard of Oz is going to be Monday, and next Wednesday we will be talking about Arrietty. We're only a few weeks away, I think, from finishing our Studio Ghibli retrospective. So once again, a massive thank you to Carl and Bath Time, to everyone who tunes in. You guys are absolute troopers. You two are like among the loyalist of the loyal on this channel. We really appreciate you guys. And yeah, Carl, you have my permission. Go for it. Right, I will catch you guys on the next video. Take care, everyone. Have a good Halloween.